Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on Superman and Lois Season 2. This is going to be my review for Episode 7 for this season, otherwise entitled Antihero or Anti-Hero, whichever way you want to pronounce it. And what the hell? What the hell? What the hell just happened in this episode? And of course, I'm not going to say anything yet, because spoiler alert, if you've not watched the episode, go away, then come back later on, because we're going to be talking about everything, including the big what the hell moments in this episode. But of course, throughout the video, be sure to let me know your various thoughts, opinions, theories, predictions, general reactions to what happened in this episode, because so much happened, it was like a slap across the face with a Kryptonian bullet, or maybe an ex-Kryptonite vial of powder, whatever it is. But yeah, let me know all your opinions down there. And of course, if you're going to enjoy the video, you enjoy this episode and just want to show your support, why not drop a like on the video to do all that? So last episode, we had Jordan learning about Jonathan and his ex-Kryptonite stuff, which of course continues in this episode. Ali Alston, we learn, is on the path to becoming a god if she gets both of the pendants. So she has one from this Earth, and then there's another one that's brought to this Earth via Bizarro. And of course, that plays out in this episode as well. It continues. And then Lana splits up with Kyle officially, which also continues in this episode. And finally, to end off that episode, we had the big cliffhanger with Superman being arrested for treason, which, like everything we just mentioned before, also continues in this episode. Everything from last episode that was big is extremely relevant this week as well. But this episode was insane. I can't believe it. And I wonder what the reaction's going to be, because I think what they've done here is solidified. I don't know where it goes going forward, because I think we all thought one character, actually, we're in the spoiler territory now, but we all thought Bizarro was going till the end. So what are they doing? And I'm not saying there's a negative. I'm not criticizing them. That's me extremely confused and also extremely curious at the same time. And it goes along with what I've said about Superman and Lois all the time. You can't predict what they're going to do. They love to just throw you a curveball at any given moment. Now, speaking of curveballs at any given moment, there's no new episode next week. We've got to be tortured. We've got to wait longer to see the continuation of this. I think there's only a 1 week break. And it's back on March 22nd in America. So next week, no new episode. They'll probably replay something on the CW. But then the week after that, we're back with the next episode that follows on from this stuff, which I need now because I have so many questions. But let's just jump into the breakdown. So we start off the episode with Superman waking up in his red sun-soaked cell next to his half-brother, Tal-Rho, with Superman, of course, very confused as to why the hell he is here, with Tal-Rho almost excited to hear as well. Now, Anderson does reveal to Superman that he is in full control, that, the general above him has put him in charge of all this stuff, and the higher-ups, they aren't stepping in the way of this arrest that he's gone about doing with Superman. And this arrest is due to Superman keeping Bizarro information hidden, treason. And though Superman is pushing the whole Ali Alston thing to the front, to the most wanted list, if you want to call it, Anderson wants Bizarro, but he's going to keep that Ali Alston stuff in his head, but Bizarro is what he wants. Now, of course, Lois cannot believe what is happening to Superman and pushes her father Sam towards pushing some buttons and pulling some levers within the DoD and use his reputation to help Clark's case. Now, based off how this episode ends, I am curious to see what happens with Sam. Like, is he going to come out of retirement? And obviously we'll get to that later in the episode, but like, who steps into that position there? Are we going to get a new person in the DoD? I'm not too sure. I'm curious. Will Sam come out of retirement in like a temporary role? I don't know. That's for us to wait and find out, I guess. Now, the fallout from the Lana and Kyle split is continuing, which is bundled together with this election for mayor. And Lana's opponent, the current, Mayor Dean, he is pulling out all the stops, and Lana feels like, well, I guess David going up against Goliath, but I did like the outcome of that, because I was wondering, like, it makes you wonder, the Smallville population, they're like supporting some dude who's just a complete bully, but I did like the outcome in this episode, which we'll get to later on when it ties into some other stuff. Now, we have this big police raid on Smallville High, which, I think a lot of people thought was coming, and they're on the hunt for ex-Kryptonite, and Jonathan is in the wrong place at the complete wrong time, sort of. I mean, his girlfriend Candace was in the wrong place at the wrong time, as she is offering more ex-Kryptonite to Jonathan, who denies it after his altercation with Jordan last episode. However, Jonathan takes it off Candace so she does not get in trouble, thinking his good reputation will keep him safe. but a sniffer dog does not really care about your reputation, Jonathan. So that didn't work. But it makes you wonder, is Candace an idiot? I mean, like, surely she would know that, there's a bit of a, it's walking on like cracked ice, not very thick ice or just thin ice with this stuff. Like, people are being caught. Timmy dude, the police have been to his house. Why would you bring this stuff to school? Especially if you're just giving it to Jonathan anyway. Like, can't you just make him come to your house, or you go to his house, or meet somewhere in the middle, or somewhere in town? Why bring it to school? Anyway, she's an idiot. But of course, Jonathan's feeling the repercussions of her stupidity. Now, Lois learns about Jonathan's issue at school, and Jonathan's acting like it isn't that big of a deal, which Lois, of course, is on the opposite side of going like, it is a bit of a big deal. I mean, hello, drugs. Now, Jonathan is covering up for Candace even more, but then really had to admit that he was using it as well when Jordan told his side of the events and what, he's experienced. Now, Lois, of course, due to this, is not having the best of days. I mean, first, husband is imprisoned, and next, son on drugs. I mean, outside of them both dying, this is probably the next roughest thing that could happen in regards to those two. So, perfect day for Lois, I guess. Now, Anderson isn't getting any answers off Superman. He's frustrated, so he turns to Tal-Rho. Though, there isn't really a fair exchange for this information. It's more torturous, and the torture stops when that information comes out, with Superman actually giving out some information, but it's mislead, as he gives Anderson the directions to the Fortress of Solitude, not Bizarro, which I thought was smart, give him some time. However, it sort of, there's a bit of a backflip, or, it turns back on him later on. Now, we do have this chat with Lois and Lana, which I did like, and you have the parallels with Lois having Jonathan keeping the drug secret from her, and then having it come out without his intention. It's not like he came clean or anything like that. And Lana having Kyle keeping his affair from the past a secret until it, similar to the whole Jonathan thing, coming out without his intention. But then Lois then provides some motivation to Lana to take on the mayor, which, builds up to one of the last scenes in the episode, which I thought was really well done, and a big middle finger to this mayor, who is so unlikable, it's incredible. Now, Anderson's team does arrive at the Fortress of Solitude with, of course, Superman still believing it's a distraction, and Anderson also thinks he's been fooled, like, he's just wasting our time. But of course, Superman doesn't know that Bizarro visited the fortress, and of course, that is where Bizarro exited his suit, so it's still there. Now, Anderson, of course, this leads him to believe that Superman and Bizarro are now working together. So yeah, this sort of backflips on Superman, doesn't it? Now, we did get this Superman versus Tal-Rho fight, which obviously just leads to them fighting DOD agents and escaping. However, we do have Superman making eye contact with Anderson before doing so, and honestly, I thought Superman was actually going to stay there. But yeah, there's really no trust in Anderson from Superman's side anymore, and it's, based off, I guess, how everything plays out, it probably was better that he escaped, because you can't trust Anderson. Anderson's a man gone wild, a man gone mad. Now, Superman and Tal-Rho do head to Tal-Rho's fortress to observe Bizarro, and of course, Bizarro has Tal-Rho on his Earth, but it's the opposite over there. Bizarro and his Tal-Rho had an amazing relationship and were inseparable, but then Tal-Rho betrayed him, and it had to do with Tal-Rho's wife. Now, this is never revealed who it is. I wonder who it is. Was it meant to be, maybe it was Ali, it's not Lois, because we know that Superman was married to Lois. They're in the photos. Or Bizarro was married to his versions of Lois, because they're in the photos together. So I wonder who Tal-Rho's wife was. Maybe it was Lana? Maybe it was the Superwoman over there. Maybe that's what it was. I'm sure we'll find out, because they left that door open. So I think we'll find out. But who do you think it is? Now, speaking of wives, Lois goes to talk to Jonathan again, and she believes that he isn't dealing or anything like that. She believes him in regards to that, but Jonathan still is not willing to reveal that it is Candace doing all of this. And this is just going to lead to bad things for Jonathan, because he's just going to be given the blame for it all. He's taking all this blame. But I wonder whether Jordan will step in. This doesn't happen, but I wonder whether Jordan will step in next episode based on how this episode ends and what's in store for Jonathan. So maybe Jordan could come to the rescue if Jonathan isn't going to do it himself. That's what I'm wondering. Does anyone else think that could be the case? Now, one thing that just blew my mind, Anderson takes X-Kryptonite in order to hunt down Superman and Tal-Rho. He doesn't just take it, he actually goes into Project 7734, the thing that General Lane set up last season, which is now like sort of, off limits. He goes in there, breaks orders, breaks rank, goes in there, takes X-Kryptonite, sorry. And I didn't expect that happening in this episode. Maybe later on in the season when, times get desperate. But yeah, it happens this episode. And we see Anderson shooting at Bizarro with his kryptonite weapons when he finds when he finds Superman and Tal-Rho. But the X-Kryptonite shield blocks them, and then we do get something like Anderson versus Superman and Tal-Rho, which is really cool to see all this happening. And Anderson clearly has the edge with all this, kryptonite dust in the air, or kryptonite mist or smoke, whichever way you want to put it. But Tal-Rho does take a bullet for Superman, which was a bit cliche, but I think they're just having some fun with it. Now, Lara does let Bizarro out of his cage to take on Anderson, because if this didn't happen, Tal-Rho probably would have 100% died, and there's a potential that Superman could have died as well. But Anderson ends up shooting Bizarro with a kryptonite bullet, which just makes Bizarro even stronger, which of course, surprises the hell out of Anderson. But speaking of bullets in the kryptonite category, Superman has to break down the kryptonite bullet in order to save Tal-Rho, but Superman has to also fly Tal-Rho to direct sunlight in order for Tal-Rho to heal after destroying this kryptonite bullet, leaving Bizarro and Anderson behind on Earth. Fair distance away, a lot of stuff can happen in that time frame. And Anderson, of course, figuring out that the kryptonite bullet made Bizarro stronger, does the opposite. Uses X-Kryptonite and just peppers him non-stop with it, which leads Anderson to choking out Bizarro, leaving him presumably dead. What? No way he can be dead. I mean, this episode makes us think he's dead. 100% no coming back. But what? I mean, that's another thing I was not expecting to see in this episode at all. I thought we'd be seeing Bizarro for a good amount until the end of the season, especially because, he's got his eye set on Alley. Superman's trying to stop that as well. Might get a Superman and Bizarro team up. Nope, choked out, dead. And obviously, in this case, we had Superman choosing Tal-Rho over Bizarro, when Bizarro is the key to a lot of his questions. So that was a big choice by Superman at that moment, and I wonder if he'll come to regret it if Ali gets the upper hand and Superman just does not know how to deal with it. Because we know that Bizarro wasn't able to do it on his Earth, and, things sort of line up the same in some cases. You could say, hey, it's the opposite over there, but not everything is the opposite. So, Superman, did you make the right call there? Saving your brother instead of keeping Bizarro alive. When you could argue with what Tal did in the past, did he deserve that kind of treatment and that kind of rescue to keep him alive? So there's a lot of things that Superman has to think over. Now, Anderson went against orders, so he's got an arrest warrant against him. So that's what I was saying before about General Lane. Will he come back into like a temporary role leading up the DOD? I'm not too sure what's going to happen there specifically. And of course, it's not going to be the last time we see Anderson. We see him at the end of the episode as well. But I guess the big question is, how does Anderson change from this point to later in the season? Does he become a fully fledged villain? Will he be killed by Ali, or will something along those lines happen? I'm very curious to see what happens with him as a character. Now, Lana does crash Mayor Dean's get together and gives him a taste of his own medicine, based off, the push that Lois gave Lana and just everything like that. With also Sarah taking some advice throughout the episode and deciding to speak to Kyle. Obviously, that just sets up some stuff going forward and just doesn't make, like Kyle's gone forever and that neither Lana or Sarah are going to talk to him at all. But yeah, I guess that's somewhat good for relationship's sake. Now, Clark has obviously been in prison, so he has no idea what's going on with Jonathan. He finds out, goes to talk to Jonathan. He's not happy as you'd expect. I mean, it'd be weird if he was happy. With Jonathan now having to pretty much give up everything in Smallville, school, all that, including football. So he's going to have to either go to another town to do school or, do it online or do it at home, whatever it is. And I mean, man, Jonathan, mate, just say it wasn't you. Don't be a simp for Candace. Candace would not do the same for you. Rat her out. She put you in that situation. What the hell? This is why I'm hoping Jordan comes through and says, it wasn't him. It was this Candace girl. I'm sure if you go to her house, you'll find heaps of X-Kryptonite. Even if you just go through her bag randomly, you'll find it. And if you ask people, they will tell you it was her. Why is Jonathan doing this? Seriously, sort it out, Jonathan. Hopefully Jordan comes through to him next episode and does what a brother should do. This is not Jordan being, a bad brother. This is him being a good brother if he does this. So hopefully he does do it. But speaking of drama, at the end of the episode, final scene, we do see Anderson finding Ali Olsen and bringing the pendant from Bizarro along with him. Her eyes lit up. She can't believe it, and neither can I. What is going to happen? Like it feels like this is not like next episode. Episode 8 is the proper halfway point of the season. What happens from this point forward? Like I don't know what's going to happen. We have 8 episodes left this season. So much has already happened in these first 7. I have no idea what's happening next and where we are once we get to the season 2 finale. Like by that point, it could be freaking the Justice League is there or something. It's so much unexpected stuff happening. I don't know where it's going to go, but this episode, especially the back half, was just like so much unexpected stuff happening. It just made me question where this season is going as a whole in the best way possible. And it's annoying that we have to go on this 1 week break. But sometimes to get some good stuff, you have to go through some torturous stuff, which is that 1 week. Oh, I guess 2 weeks from now. But yeah, great episode. Great episode. I don't know if it's my favorite. Once again, I don't like judging off the first time I watch it. So I have to probably think later on whether it's my favorite. But the most unexpected stuff happened this episode. This is probably the most unexpected stuff happening in an episode outside of, Bizarro being revealed instead of Doomsday. So it's ranking just behind that. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like on it to show support. Let me know in the comment section down below your various opinions about everything we went over in this video and all of that. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe and I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.